Good morning, everybody. I am Dr.R.Devi, Assistant Professor at Department of History, A.D.M College for Women, Nagapattinam. Fundamental rights provided by the Indian Constitution. In this session of Indian polity, we are going to see about fundamental rights provided by the Indian Constitution. What are fundamental rights? Fundamental rights are the basic rights of the people, some universally recognized rights that are seen as fundamental, which is also provided as the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Fundamental rights across the globe varies based on country to country. It's evident that more or less they follow the same types of rights. The following are the key rights declaring even short term. They are right to self-determination, right to liberty, right to due process of law, right to freedom of movement, right to freedom of thought, right to freedom of religion, right to freedom of expressions, right to peaceful assembly, right to freedom of association. Fundamental rights are incorporated from Article 12 to 35 in the third chapter of Indian Constitutional Rights are the basic facilities which we need for our growth. These are the claims of individual recognized by the society and enforced by the state. The existence of democracy can't be imagined without the fundamental rights in India because rights are the pillars of democracy. 31 rights are incorporated from Article 12 to 35. Why do we call these rights fundamental? These rights are incorporated in the third chapter of the Constitution of India. They afford a basis for the development of an individual. The people and the officials of India are ought to enjoy these rights. Nature of rights. Fundamental rights are equal for all. Rights are injusticiable. Article 32. Fundamental rights are not absolute. They limit the authority of the central and the state governments. Fundamental rights distinguish between citizens and foreign nationals. They can be suspended during emergency. Parliament can amend fundamental rights. India has adopted many countries' constitution to frame the version of fundamental rights. The major contributing countries were USA, UK, Canada and Australia. What are the major rights of the Indian citizens? The individual fundamental rights of Indian citizens include the following: equality before law, freedom of religion, freedom of association and peaceful assembly, freedom of speech and expression, right to constitutional remedies for the protection of civil rights. Can the rights of citizens be amended this constitution? Some fundamental rights of life of persons, nationality are available only to the citizens in India. The Supreme Court has ruled that all provisions of the Constitution, including fundamental rights, can be amended. However, the Parliament cannot alter the basic structure of the Constitution. Fundamental rights in the Indian Constitution. Fundamental rights as defined the basic human freedoms that every Indian citizen has the right to enjoy. These rights universally apply to all citizens irrespective of race, place of birth, religion, caste or gender. There are 7 fundamental rights enshrined in our Constitution. Right to equality. Right to equality is an important and meaningful right provided in Articles 14, 15, 16, 17 and 18 of the Constitution. It is the principal foundation of all other rights and liberties and guarantees of following: equality of law given in Article 14, prohibition of discrimination on the grounds of religion, race, caste, sex or place of birth given in Article 15, equality of opportunities in matters of public employment given in Article 16. Article 17 explains abolition of untouchability. Article 18 discusses the abolition of titles. Rights of freedom given in Articles 19 to 22. Cultural and educational rights given in Articles 29 to 30. Right to freedom. Freedom of speech and expression given in Article 19. Freedom of press. Article 361A has been inserted, according to which the press has been given the power to publish an account of the proceedings of the Indian Parliament and the state legislatures. Right to information is linked to the freedom of speech and expression granted in Article 19 in the Constitution. Freedom to assemble peacefully without arms. Freedom to form associations and unions. Freedom to move freely throughout the territory of India. Freedom to reside and settle in any part of the territory of India. Freedom to practice any profession or to carry on any occupation, trade or business. Protection is respect of conviction of an offence, Article 20. Protection of life and personal liberty, Article 21. Right to education, Article 21A. Protection against arrest and detention against certain cases, Article 22. Rights against exploitation given in Article 23 to 24. Prohibition of traffic in human beings and forced labour, Article 23. This article prohibits the traffic in human beings and forced labour. Prohibition of compulsory services, Article 23. Under this article, the state can force people to do compulsory service for public purposes. Prohibition of child labour, Article 24. Children below the age of 14 years will not be allowed to work in factories, mines or in other dangerous places so that their health is not adversely affected. Rights of freedom of religion given in Articles 25 to 28. Right to religious freedom. Freedom of profess and propagate any religion, Article 25. Freedom to manage religious affairs, Article 26. Freedom not to pay taxes for the promotion of any particular religion, Article 27. No religious instructions in government educational institutions, Article 28(1). In private educational institutions, religious education not against the will, Article 20. Cultural and educational rights, Article 29 to 30. Protection against the interest of minorities, Article 29(1). Freedom to get admission in educational institutions, Article 29(2). Right to minorities to establish educational institutions, Article 31. No discrimination while giving grants, Article 32. Rights of minorities to establish and administer educational institutions. Rights to constitutional remedies given in Article 32 to 35. Empowers the citizens to move a court of law in case of any denial of the fundamental rights. Right to constitutional remedies, Article 32. Article 31(1) provides that a citizen can approach the Supreme Court of India by due process of law for the implementation of the fundamental rights included in Chapter 3 of the Constitution. Article 32(2). The Supreme Court of India has the right to issue rights in the nature of the habeas corpus, mandamus, prohibition, etc. Article 32(3). The Indian Parliament can empower any court to issue notice with its jurisdiction without infringing or influencing the powers of the Supreme Court of India. Article 32(4). The state cannot suspend the right to constitutional remedies except in cases provided in the Indian Constitution. Understanding the nature of fundamental rights. First of all, it's important to understand the nature of fundamental rights and why are they implemented. The fundamental rights together is a weapon in the hands of citizens to protect themselves from any abuse of power by the state. These rights act as a check on the powers of the government. Critical evaluation of fundamental rights. No rights outside the Constitution. Too many limitations. Preventive detention and fundamental rights. Rights can be suspended during emergency. Absence of economic rights. Vague and complex language. Supremacy of Parliament over fundamental rights. Special concessions for minorities and backward classes are against the principle of equality. Importance of human rights. Foundation of democracy. Check on the arbitrariness of the government. Create proper conditions for the development of man. Foundation of rule of law. Establishment of secular state. Protection of interest of the minorities. Reconciliation between individual interests and social interests. What is the Constitution of India? Fundamental duties, Part 4, Article 51A. These fundamental rights have been provided at the cost of some fundamental duties. These are considered as the duties that must be and should be performed by every citizen of India. These fundamental duties are defined as it shall be the duty of every citizen of India to abide by the Constitution, to uphold and protect the sovereignty, unity and integrity of India, to cherish and follow the noble ideas which inspire our national struggle for freedom, to defend the country and render national service when called upon to do so. To promote harmony and the spirit of common brotherhood. To value and preserve the rich heritage of our composite culture. To protect and improve the national environment. To develop the scientific temper, humanism, and the spirit of inquiry and reform. To safeguard public property and to abjure violence. To strive towards excellence in all spheres of individual and collective activity, so that the nation constantly rises to higher levels of endeavor and achievement. Union list and educational articles. Article 62. National Library, Indian Museum, Imperial War Museum and Victoria Memorial will run on central grant and will be considered as national property. Article 33. Banaras Hindu University, Aligarh University, Delhi University and other institutions under Parliamentary Act are considered as national institute. Article 64. All science and technological institutes recognized by the Parliament are considered as national institutes. Union list. Union agencies are the following institutes. Article 65. The training institutes of military and paramilitary forces and Technical Institute of Crime Control Board. Article 66. Research Institute of Science and Technology of Higher Education. Article 67. Ancient Monument and Archaeological Sites. State list. Article 11. All educational institutes excluding in the list of articles 63, 64, 65, 66 will run by the aids of state governments. Article 12. Library, museum, historical sites, monuments excluding in the article 62 and 67 will be maintained by the state. Concurrent list. Article 23. Economic and social planning. Article 25. Vocational and technical institutes. Article 26. Law, mechanical and other profession related articles. 27. Government aids and aiding agencies. Article 39. Newspaper, books, journals and printing industry. Article 40. Archaeological sites except the sites declared by the Parliament as national property. The center-state relation. From Article 245 to 300 in the Part 11 and 12 are related to center-state relationship. The Parliament has the power to legislate any part of the territory of India. Parliament has the power of extraterritorial legislation. That means Union Parliament will govern any person, property and Indian subjects anywhere in the world. Predominance of Union law in the jurisdiction of state in case of repugnancy. With this, we will come to an end of the session on fundamental rights in the Indian Constitution provide to the Indian citizens as well as the national infra circle. Thank you so much. எவ்வளோ நேரம் வந்திருக்கு?